Hey there, everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome. We are doing an unboxing. I just received the 1983 season Fleer, the 1984 Fleer set. But these are taken in October, so it's based of the previous year. So it's pretty much the team that ended the season with each organization. And some of these are protected. I guess these are the most important characters. George Brett and Ricky Henderson, and some of these are protected. Tony Gwynn in his mustard yellow San Diego Padre uniform, brown and mustard, and with a little bit of a belly. He's always a guy who's a little bit more like the average guy, the average Joe. Here is the tall and lanky and muscle-bound Darryl Strawberry. 83 was basically his rookie season. Then it's, of course, another rookie season in 83 was Don Mattingly's rookie season, I believe. There's Don Mattingly as well. He's looking no mustache, mustache-less Don Mattingly, says first base, outfield. He also played second base as well. Here's Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan's already up there in age. Cal Ripken Jr. So these are some of the highlights in the Fleer set that I picked up. Not very expensive. Ryan Sandberg, another one who was pretty young at that time, and Wade Boggs, another young player at that time as well. Goes on to be a batting champion. Now, what I'm really looking for in my Mets, because I'm replaying the Mets using two different tabletop games, Payoff Pitch and APBA Basic. APBA Basic. So I'm going to go through Jerry Koosman. He's with the White Sox. Look at that. I was not aware of that. And these, look at that. Fleer seems to be either put into teams or they come in teams. I'm not sure. But here are all the White Sox. And then looks like all the Phillies. I don't know if that's how Fleer sells its sets. It makes it a lot easier than having all these random players that you got to put into teams. This would make my life much easier to get a good picture. Really, I do it is just to get a look at the old uniforms and get a look at the pictures of the players, because after 40 years, I forget what they look like. And of course, this along with all the retro games that we're watching on the MLB network now, since we don't have any regular baseball, we get to see all these retro games, which is great because it basically encourages you, inspires you to do more, to get into this era a little bit more, an era that is also known as the forgotten era. Don't know why that is. I guess it's because it's forgotten. All right, so here are all the Dodgers. I'm looking for the Mets, basically. Kenny Landrop, Rick Honeycutt, Greg Brock. Wackenfuss goes back to Detroit. This is a beautiful set. This set looks like it was untouched, unplayed. I mean, every card is crisp and clean, and look how clean the back is. This is a really, really nice set for a season, an 84 season. The 83 players, right? It's the 83 players. What I'm really looking for are the Mets. These are the Braves with Bob Horner, Terry Foster, Chris Chambliss, ex-Yankee Chris Chambliss. And then it goes over to the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays came into existence in '77. That was the first year they came into existence. The Yankees. Let's look at the Yankees in '83. This is pretty much the '83 team. It's the '84 set of Fleer. It's Butch Weiniger, Dave Winfield, Roy Smalley, Bob Shirley, Andre Robertson, second base shortstop, Dave Righetti. Dave Righetti in '83 almost has a no-hitter. Or does he? I think he did have a no-hitter, right? Father is former Yankee minor leaguer shortstop. Led Yankee AL crown in 1981. Interesting. All right. Shane Rawley, Willie Randolph, Lou Piniella, Omar Moreno. Here are all the Yankees. Let's see. And then some Dodgers there. Don Baylor is with the Yankees in '83. He was not really a big Yankee. He had issues with George Steinbrenner. Great player, though, early on, but came up with the Orioles primarily, then went up to Oakland, and then eventually got picked up by the California Angels. All right, let's keep on going through these, see if we can find the Mets. No, the Astros. All right, let's go through these. Red Sox. So everything is by team, so this makes a lot more sense. I'd rather buy everybody by team. The Tops, they come all over the place. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the... Found the Mets. There they are. Let's go to the last player. All right. The Metropolitans. Mookie Wilson leading off. Outfield. Started in '80 with the Mets. And then played a little bit more in '81. Played 2 full seasons in '82 and '83. And his batting average was 279 and 276, so consistent. Triples had 9 and 6 triples. Not really a home run hitter, but he stole 58 bases in '82 and 54 bases in '83. Mike Torres, Walt Terrell, Craig Swan. Craig Swan for a long time was the Mets ace, right? He started in '74 with the Mets and then ended his career in '83. So this is his last season. Interesting. Probably had some arm issues for sure. But he was their ace for a bunch of years. Stearns starts off the season, and I don't even think he plays in '80. He only plays in 4 games in '83, so he has some serious injury. He was basically supposed to be their starting catcher. Rusty Staub, what does he do in '83? He basically is used as a pinch hitter because he plays in 104 games with 115 at-bats. So Rusty does not really start many games anymore. He's pretty much a pinch hitter, and is this his last season? And it is. This is Rusty Staub's last season. So he ended his career with the Mets in '81, '82, and '83. Great player throughout his career, great hitter, very consistent hitter. Doug Sisk. And his last season is, wait a second, it's not the last season. What am I talking about? This is not their whole career. This goes up to that season. Yeah, okay, this is the '84 set. There he is, Tom Seaver. Wow. I was misreading the cards. It's not their last season. It's just that this is the last season on these cards because these came out in '84. So '83 was everybody's last season. All right, so there he is, Tom Seaver, his card, his career, '67. I have the '67 Stratomatic set that I'm wanting to replay that year because of Seaver's. That's Seaver's rookie season. He wins 16 games, which is pretty mind-bending. Junior Ortiz ends up playing a bunch at catcher for the Mets in '83. Plays in 68 games with 200 at-bats, so basically 1/3 of the season, if you will. Jesse Orosco, he is one of the Mets aces. Jose Oquendo fills in at the shortstop spot, and this is it is his rookie season. Ed Lynch, Dave Con Kingman. He always had a real stern-looking poker face of a player. Never much emotion. Wasn't an emotional guy. And Dave Con Kingman took a lot of slack for his strikeouts, and it was, home run or a strikeout. So he took a lot of slack for that. Let's see. Scott Holman, he starts a bunch of games in '83. Hodges starts off as the starting catcher at the beginning of the season for the Mets and gets about 250 at-bats. Bats what does he bat? He bats 260 for the Mets. Not bad. In 1983. Keith Hernandez joins the Mets in '83. That's another exciting addition to the Mets. And with the Mets, he is going to bat 306. Comes to the Mets, has 320 at bats. Comes to the Mets on June 15th, and he hits 9 home runs, 8 doubles, 3 triples, 9 home runs. That's 300 for the Mets. So that's going to be a welcome addition. His defense is going to be particularly helpful and useful to improve the Mets. And he's right around the corner from joining us. My replay is my Met replay is troubling in that they have 11 victories in 40 games. 41, yep, 40 games. That's it. Danny Heap, Brian Giles, second baseman. Very, very unusual career. But he basically, holds his own. He bats .245 at second base. Plays really good defense according to some of the metrics. George Foster has a huge comeback year. Year before, he was a huge disappointment. Mets picked him up in '82, and they considered him to be the slugger that was going to really make the difference for the Mets, and he ended up hitting 13 home runs. Huge disappointment, but he comes back. Comeback player of the year in my book in 1983 with 28 home runs, 90 RBIs, and really makes up for his poor season of '82. George Foster, major part of the Big Red Machine in the late '70s. Carlos Diaz, he's another one who really stands out in the bullpen for the Mets. Mets have an outstanding bullpen, and most of the runs scored against the Mets are in the first few innings. After the 7th inning, the opposition scores very few runs against the Mets in our replay. Hubie Brooks, Mark Bradley, these are fill-ins, and Bob Baylor. He looks like he's a deer in the headlights. It's like, what am I doing in New York? I want to go back to Toronto. He started off with the Blue Jays in Toronto. Guess he was in the Baltimore Oriole organization. And then he was picked up in the draft by the Blue Jays in the '77 expansion draft. Played 3 years with the bat .310 the first season, .264 and .229, .236 in 1980, and then the Mets picked him up in '81. Batted for the Mets, he batted .277 in '82, and then in '83 batted .250. I don't think he lasts much longer than that. But that's it. This is Fleer Unboxing, and this is going to make it's going to bring to life my replays. So I really like doing this when I have a replay that I'm really into and learning a lot about the history and the era and the players and the team. And so there's a lot of great things that I do just to keep it lively and keep it fresh. So I don't kind of bog down, in monotony. So anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice, and this is a pretty long unboxing. Hey there, guys. RJL, I watched his outstanding replay of an alternative scenario where the Braves and the Twins, they get to play each other in 1969, because that's the set he has. And anyway, this is a blast. I really like doing this. You know what? I bought Fleer by accident. I thought I was buying Topps. And then, but I've been pleasantly surprised by a beautiful Fleer set. Now, I just picked up a 1983 Mets Yearbook that has fascinating historical, documentation with some fascinating writers and reviews and on players and stories on players. Really, really, really interesting. It's the 1983 Mets Yearbook. And I just picked that up very cheaply. You'd be surprised how cheaply. When you pick out a season that's a little bit outside of, the classic seasons, that is not an '86 Mets. Of course, everything, Mets in '86 is real expensive. But if you pick a kind of a season where they didn't do so well, you really get into the heart of the history of what was going on. And the reason I picked 1983 was, one, because Seaver was back, and I thought that was huge. It's both it's a bittersweet season because then they lose Seaver after this season. And Caesar comes back, holds his own, is a professional, the consummate professional as always. You know, he pitches, has a losing record of I think 9-15 or 9-14 or something like that, with a terrible Met team. But really, you know, he's the leader that the Mets need at this point. And he's going to basically he's going to be the 83 is going to be the year where the Mets pick up Hernandez and Strawberry and some key of the key ingredients are going to really establish themselves, like Orozco and Sisk. They establish themselves in the bullpen as well. So anyway, this is the Fleer unboxing. I don't like to let these go very much further than 15 minutes. This is CP Cards and Dice, and I will see you guys a little bit later. I'm right about to play a game with 1983 game. It's going to be San Diego Torres against the Mets Torres against I can't remember San Diego pitcher. I have it right under here. San Diego pitcher is going to be Dave Dravecki. No, that's is that San Diego? Is that San Francisco? San Diego. So anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice, and I just got this today. And thanks for checking us out. And I will see you guys soon. So long.